This is Laura from Gardening Know-How, and today I'm going to show you how to divide 3 perennial plants: hostas, rudbeckia, and salvia. Let's dig in. Dividing perennials is a great way to expand your garden for free. And spring is the perfect time to split plants like hostas that bloom in late summer or fall. Hostas are easy to divide because they grow in clumps. You can see where a new clump has grown off from the main plant. This started as one plant only a couple of years ago, but now there are several clumps that are ready for division. Grab a shovel and dig around the drip line of your hosta. That means dig straight down from the edge of the leaves. You want to keep as many roots intact as you can to give your hostas a smooth transition to their new home. Water plants well the day before you divide them to make sure they are happy and hydrated. Have the hole where your transplants will go ready for your divisions before you start digging. The less time plants spend out of the ground, the better. Make sure to divide plants on an overcast or cloudy day. Never dig up and move plants when the sun is beating down on them. It will make their transition that much harder. If plants are in bloom, wait to divide them. An easy rule of thumb is to divide fall blooming plants in spring and spring blooming plants in fall. Now my hosta is almost ready to move. This plant is too big to move in one piece, so I need to split it up into smaller sections. Lay your hosta back in the hole and find a good place to divide your plant. This one piece is made up of several smaller clumps, so I will first divide it in half. You can divide plants with your shovel, a garden knife, or even 2 pitchforks. Use the pitchforks to pry the plant apart if the roots are not too dense. Since this hosta is so big, I'm not worried about hurting it, so I will just use my shovel. It may take a bit of effort for a bigger plant like this, but hostas are pretty hardy. And if you divide them in early spring, they'll have plenty of time to bounce back and heal. Separate the clumps and shake off some of the excess dirt. Here you can see our new hosta plant. It's a good size with a solid root system, and it's ready to be planted elsewhere in the garden. This other half is still too big. I'm going to have to divide it in half again. You can see some of the roots and where the clump splits. I'm going to divide between these 2 smaller sections, just like before. Gently pry the hosta apart. And there you go! You have another section to plant under some trees or in a shady spot in your garden. You can plant your hosta back in the hole it came from, or fill the hole in with dirt and let the rest of the hosta grow into the space. Now it's time to divide my rudbeckia. This is a green-headed coneflower that grows about 5 or 6 feet tall and blooms in late summer. A month ago, I noticed a surface root shooting out from the main plant that formed this small new clump. This is the section I'm going to dig up and transplant. The process is the same as with hostas. Dig around the drip line of the rudbeckia and make sure to cut through the runner that connects the new clump from the main plant. If it is still visible above ground, you can cut it with a pair of clean garden shears. This clump is so small though, I was able to pull it out of the ground with no trouble. Here you can see the new clump with all its roots intact, including the runner that connected this rudbeckia to its parent plant. Last but not least, salvia. Follow the same process as before, digging around the plant with your shovel. How do you know when to divide perennials? This salvia looks fine now with its new spring growth, but last year it had a big bald spot in the center. When plants start dying out in the middle, it's time to divide. But it's best to split plants before they start to suffer. Overcrowded plants have to compete for nutrients and water, and they can become diseased if they're not getting enough airflow. You want to divide perennials before they start to look bad. Shake loose any excess soil and pick out your dividing tool of choice. I'm splitting up this salvia with a spade to untangle the massive roots without hurting too many of them. After a bit of fighting, I finally split the plant into 2 clumps. I'm going to finish the job by hand and pull apart the knotted roots into 2 separate sections. You can see how densely packed these roots are, which means this salvia has overgrown its space. It will be much happier in its new home. Now we finally have 2 separate plants. Plant your divisions like you would any new plant from the nursery. Add good compost into the hole and mix it with the local soil. Grab your transplant, making sure all the roots are in the hole, and planting it at the same height it was before. You can use your shovel handle to make sure the base of the plant is level with the ground around the hole. Then backfill with more soil and compost, and give your new plants a drink. Good luck and good gardening.